Hello, and welcome to our Mountain West Conference Football Preview, courtesy of Aztecs Talk. I'm Nicole Cross.
And I'm Edward Shockey. It's great to see you, Nicole. How have you been?
I'm doing great, Edward. I had a fabulous summer. I feel recharged and ready for a new season of Aztec sports. You?
I'm fantastic, Nicole. I went backpacking through Europe. I met Rex Ryan at the running of the Bulls. What a nice guy. I feel ready to tackle a new Aztec sports year. Let's do this.
That is so good to hear, Edward. I'm sure meeting Rex Ryan was a real treat.
What a personality. He's larger than life. I think he really liked my shoes though. He kept looking at my feet.
Ahem. Are you ready to get into this preview?
Definitely, Nicole, let's do this. Okay, let's start with the Mountain Division and go from what I project to be the bottom up. Coach Bob Davie continues to overhaul the New Mexico program. They improved from 1 win 2 years ago, to 4 wins last year. New Mexico became a run-dominated offense and Casey Carrier is a budding star. Their weak spot is with their passing offense and defense. I think New Mexico can reach 4 to 5 wins with that schedule.
No shot at being bowl eligible?
I don't think they have enough skill position players on either side of the ball. But stranger things have happened.
Okay, well, let's move on to your next team, and that's the Colorado State Rams.
Coach Mack enters his 3rd year as the Rams head coach, looking to keep marching towards football relevance once again. He's added some quality recruits with his past 2 classes and will bring a run-dominated offense led by Donnell Alexander and Chris Nwake. With 4 returning starting offensive linemen and a nice tight end, the Rams offense should score some points. The strength of the Rams defense is their back 7 led by linebacker Shaq Barrett. They are pretty solid against the pass and will beat all their weak opponents to get to 5 or 6 wins.
Okay, Edward, thank you. You know we all appreciate your insight. Who's next on your list?
The Wyoming Cowboys would be next. But they will go as quarterback Brett Smith goes. So maybe behind the Rams, or ahead of the next team. There is no question that the Cowboys will score points with Smith at the helm and some talent at wide receiver, but their defense is awful. If they're going to become bowl eligible, they're going to have to win more close games this season. An improved defense could help immensely, giving Smith the last possession.
So, do you think the Cowboys will be bowl eligible this year?
Yes, Nicole, I think Brett Smith is good enough to carry Wyoming to 6 wins. He is a terrific quarterback who just has to stay healthy and get enough out of his teammates.
Okay, Edward, I'm going to take a wild guess and say a Service Academy is next on your list.
You got it, Nicole. Next up is Air Force. Coach Calhoun loses his quarterback and top running backs but replaces them with capable guys, just like the Falcons always do. You know Air Force is going to run the ball for 300+ yards per game with a triple option attack, but can they stop people on defense? They have to replace all 4 linebackers, which is no easy task. But they do have a nice secondary, so I think they can get to 6 or 7 wins this year.
We certainly respect Air Force and their players for their service, but Coach Calhoun needs to do better this season against Army and Navy, or he could be in hot water.
Absolutely. The Falcons feel like they should keep the Commander-in-Chief trophy every year, so another disappointing season against Army and Navy could be problematic.
We're down to 2 remaining schools in the Mountain Division, and I'm not sure which one you have finishing first.
I think that says a lot about how competitive this conference is. I think the top of the mountain will be in question until the last game of the year, but I'm picking Utah State to fall a shade short. Chucky Keaton is a great quarterback and their offensive line is superb. I only think they're lacking playmakers on the outside. Defensively, the Aggies are a force to be reckoned with, particularly against the run. But their secondary will be tested by some quality quarterbacks and receiving cores this year. I think they'll finish a shade behind Boise State. However, Chucky Keaton is good enough to run the table this year.
He is a great quarterback and one who can possibly make some noise for the Davy O'Brien Trophy or even a Heisman. Why Boise over Utah State?
They have a good quarterback, some nice receivers, a quality offensive line, some great pass rushers on defense, and lots of talent. The Broncos also have history on their side. They win double-digit games every year, and with all that talent I think they do it again despite the tough schedule.
Okay, well, that wraps up the Mountain Division. What about the Western Division?
As competitive as the top of the Mountain Division is, I think the top of the Western Division will be even more in question with 3 teams chasing the top spot.
Well, let's get started then, Edward. Who finishes in the cellar?
The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors will finish at the bottom of the Western Division. They'll be hard-pressed to win a single game in conference this year. Coach Norm Chow is having a very difficult time finding the right players to run his pro-style system. Ohio State transfer quarterback Taylor Graham should help, but within the last few days Coach Chow fired his offensive coordinator. That is not a good sign about the state of their offense at this point in the summer. The Rainbows struggle on defense to defend the run, so when you can't score points and can't stop the run, you're going to lose a lot of games.
Am I safe in guessing that UNLV is next on your list?
You got it, Nicole. The Rebels are improving, and Tim Cornett is a terrific running back. But can quarterback Nick Sherry take the next step? I think the Rebels' offense will be improved, but their defense still needs a lot of work. They may win up to 5 games, maybe less if the D can make strides this year. Either way, Nicole, they're not ready to compete with the big dogs yet. Who knows if their administration will be patient enough to give Coach Houck another year.
Is it safe to say there's a big difference between the lower-tier teams and the better teams in this division?
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely a difference between the haves and the have-nots. The have-nots will be hard-pressed to keep games close. The rest of the division is much better.
So, are we still in the state of Nevada or are we moving on to California?
We're staying in Nevada, Nicole, because next up is the Wolfpack. Quarterback Cody Fajardo is outstanding, but they lost a lot of production at the running back position, so finding consistent balance on offense may be a struggle at times. On defense, the Wolfpack took a big step back last year and started losing some close games. If they want to finish better than 6 wins this year, they need better production.
Okay. So now we are getting into the 3 elite teams in the division. Which of these 3 heavy hitters finishes third?
Well, Nicole, it was very difficult to decide. Each of the 3 could easily finish first depending on the scenario. But I have San Jose finishing third, and here's why. Losing Coach Mack will hurt them big time. I'm not slighting Coach Carragher by saying so either. Coach McIntyre is just that good. Quarterback David Fales will be in the NFL next year because he has a superb arm and is very accurate. The Spartans also have outstanding receivers, but I think their weakness is their running game and a lack of balance on offense. It will cost them in a close game. On defense, the Spartans lost their top pass rusher and a few key guys in the secondary, so I think they'll take a small step back this year.
Alright, Edward, now the top 3 schools in the West are all in California. Which school finishes second? The Surfers? Or the kids from the Valley?
Most people are picking Fresno State to win the Western Division, and with good reason. David Carr is a great quarterback and their offensive line and receivers are scary. However, losing Robbie Rouse will hurt. He was unstoppable out of the backfield from their 4 wide set and forced safeties to respect the run. The Bulldogs need another back to step up and fill his shoes in order to help open up the field for Carr and company. On defense, the Bulldogs should be outstanding again, despite losing Philip Thomas to the NFL. They could easily win the conference championship if the ball bounces their way.
Okay, Edward. Well, that leaves San Diego State as the Western Division champions. Why the Aztecs?
The Aztecs bring a solid rushing attack with depth at the running back spot, experience at quarterback, and enough to come close to their 30 points per game average from last year. They are really going to make some noise on defense though. The Aztecs have outstanding defensive linemen with depth. SDSU's linebacking core is the best in the conference. They can get after the quarterback and defend the run and pass equally well. The Aztecs' safeties are outstanding as well, and SDSU will be really strong in the middle. Their only question is their corner play. They lost a ton of experience and they need some young guys to mature in a hurry to repeat as champions. SDSU will also need some consistent special teams play in order to not give away points or close games. I think they get it done this year.
So, you have Boise and SDSU in the conference championship game. Who wins?
It's going to be extremely difficult for either team to beat the other twice this year. I think the team that loses in the regular season wins in the championship. I'm picking the San Diego State Aztecs to hoist the trophy once the dust has settled.
Well, there you have it, from the mind of Edward Shockey, 2012 winner of the Best Animated Prognosticator on the web. SDSU will win the Mountain West this year.
They will, Nicole. You can take that to the bank.
Well, thanks for joining us, viewers, for our Mountain West Conference football preview. We'll see you next time.
It was good seeing you again, Nicole. Thanks for watching, everyone. Go Aztecs!